Two prominent firms, and one of them is Micron, indicating there could be much more to come from the AI build-out. Christina Partsinevelos is watching Micron and Qualcomm, which are surging this morning in a huge way, in large part what you're seeing in the NASDAQ right now. Tell us about what's happened here.
Yeah, watching it, and I was at the Investor Day yesterday for Qualcomm, but memory has always been boom and then bust. But Micron is essentially telling everyone that's completely over, and the stock is up 16% because Wall Street is buying it this time. The reason is 16 long-term customer agreements now signed, 14 of them which are locking in roughly $100 billion in minimum guaranteed revenue through 2030. So that's, the next 5 years. Supply also just got tighter. Management just pushed the shortage timeline past 2027, blaming fabs, workers, energy. Samsung, you talked about SK Hynix, are already catching a bid in Korea off of this, surging and moving South Korean markets higher. And now over to Qualcomm, where shares are also up about 12% after its investor day here in New York yesterday. A new target of $40 billion in non-handset revenue, so that's non-smartphone revenue by 2029, nearly double its prior forecast, with roughly $15 billion of that from data center alone, a completely new category. I asked CEO Cristiano Amon just how he locks down supply to deliver on those numbers, given everything we just heard from Micron. Listen in.
I have secured the capacity from the manufacturer as well as memory. I also have memory for what we do in the accelerator. So we're excited about that, and I think, we're very confident in the forecast we're provided.
Does that mean that you're signing long-term agreements with memory makers?
We always
3 years, 5 years?
We always do that.
So he's securing capacity at TSMC and signing these long-term agreements that we heard about from Micron. Qualcomm also named Meta as its first customer for its new data center CPU and said it signed 2 hyperscaler deals for custom chips, one in the United States, one Chinese. I pushed back. Is it ByteDance, Amazon? He didn't say anything, but those are usually, the 2 presumed names. The bottom line is that you have 2 chip companies, 2 bets on the same AI build-out. Micron is betting it could break its own boom and bust cycle. Qualcomm is betting it could break its dependence on the smartphone, guys.
The analysts at Equity Research talk about the most recent events and news that affect equities and the financial markets every day. The following stocks were recently highlighted in the video. Micron and Nvidia. Micron became the next ground zero stock of the AI trade, putting up Nvidia like BOFO earnings statistics for its fiscal Q3 after today's closing bell. Earnings of $25.11 per share were significantly higher than the predicted growth of plus 998% year-over-year of $20.98. The astounding number today shows a plus 1,215% increase in earnings in just 1 year. Nvidia wasn't producing plus 1,200% increases, even at their peak. And that's only the beginning. Micron's Q3 revenues of $41.46 billion blew past the $36.52 billion analysts had been expecting, for an incredible year-over-year revenue rise of plus 345.8%. Operating cash flow soared out to $25.39 billion in the quarter, for a plus 113.4% boost, quarter over quarter. Cloud memory increased plus 78% on the operational side. Core data center grew plus 83%. Micron's guidance for the upcoming quarter is likewise excellent. Earnings of $30.32 per share are now predicted, substantially up from the $24.91 in the consensus. Revenues are predicted to reach between $49 to $51 billion, well ahead of the prediction for $42.64 billion. In the year-ago quarter, the corporation pulled in sales of $11 billion. This corresponds to plus 454% top-line increase in a year. According to the corporation, 100% of excess cash will eventually be returned to shareholders. This indicates that the AI deal is far from finished, much like an air trumpet in a confined situation. Risk aversion to raising the AI trade was evident in wobbly markets both domestically and in the KOSPI in South Korea. This is particularly because of the highly concentrated exchange-traded funds, ETFs, that concentrated on SK Hynix, which overtook Samsung in market capitalization. Both companies have reached the trillion-dollar market cap category, along with Micron. In addition, ETF strategist Nina Mishra discussed this topic earlier today in her Fantastic Fund newsletter, which you can read here. In after-hours trade, Micron shares are up plus 14% on the announcement. Shares have a plus 719% since this time last year and plus 2 to 67% thus far this year. By itself, the Idaho-based business has caused people to lose interest in the potato industry. More significantly, we anticipate that the recent sell-off will provide favorable entry positions for the AI trade as a whole. Nvidia is in an advantageous but difficult situation. Growth investors looking for gains of tenfold or more are now more inclined to look for smaller companies that might grow by such multiples without reaching record sizes because of its $4.9 trillion market capitalization. Fortunately, Nvidia's growth and value, combined with its big market capitalization, may draw in new investors who desire expansion without compromising security. This suggests that a particular kind of person need to purchase this semiconductor stock at the current price. Younger risk-averse investors might think about Nvidia for a number of reasons. Given that Nvidia's sales increased by 85% in the first quarter of fiscal 2027, many of these prospective buyers believe the company is better suited for growth investors. However, a look at other measures offers a different story. Thanks in part to its large size and some of the hesitancy surrounding that, the price-to-earnings ratio, PE, is 32, moderate considering its growth. Moreover, its forward PE of 23 shows the financials are on pace to continue improving, making the stock more desirable. And investors who worry about Nvidia's stability should look no farther than its $80 billion in liquidity. That alone provides it one of the safest balance sheets among public firms and should relieve anxieties about the company if it confronts unanticipated issues. Furthermore, while those things enhance the bull argument for investors, one would wonder why they should be younger. Someone can benefit from Nvidia stock at practically any age. The solution comes down to investment preferences, as senior shareholders generally depend on dividend income from stocks. At a dividend yield of little under 0.5%, Nvidia is considerably below the S&P 500 average of 1.1%. That is less of a concern for younger folks aiming to create retirement nest eggs. Still, more investors should watch Nvidia's dividend. It just upped its annual distribution from 0.04 per share to $1 per share, a 20,400% increase. That heightened focus on the payout may potentially make it more attractive to income investors over time. Now that the law of huge numbers could halt Nvidia's growth, the stock's dynamic nature has made it suitable for younger investors attempting to avoid risk. Its present rate of revenue rises makes it look like a riskier growth stock. Nonetheless, more conservative investors continue to find features like a declining PE ratio and a large liquidity position appealing. Furthermore, younger traders are less likely to require income from that source, so the lower-than-average dividend return is less of a disincentive. In the end, cautious investors can profit from quick growth by purchasing Nvidia stock without taking on the risks that typically come with such stocks. With graphics processing units, GPUs, that enable crucial operations like the training of AI models and a vast range of related products and services, Nvidia has established an artificial intelligence, AI, empire. Earnings have skyrocketed in recent years due to all of this, and the stock price has followed. For these superior AI solutions, customers swarm to Nvidia, and the business has continuously maintained its top spot in the AI chip industry. Recently, Nvidia has stated that it also wants to take the lead in the central processing unit, CPU industry, which has been controlled by Advanced Micro Devices and Intel. With the release of its first standalone CPU later this year, Nvidia has stated that it is on schedule to achieve this $200 billion opportunity. All of this sounds terrific, but it's crucial to note that Nvidia confronts increased competition from a variety of companies. Will AI continue to be dominated by this leader? The answer is remarkably evident with just one number. Today, the majority of Nvidia's revenue comes from sales of GPUs to data center clients. And this doesn't include CPUs just, but accompanying goods such as networking tools, so that Nvidia sells whole AI systems. The company has also built services specifically tailored to various industries, for example, AI platforms that assist healthcare organizations with drug research. All of this has helped Nvidia's revenue increase in the double and triple digits in recent years, and it set a new record of more than $215 billion in the latest fiscal year. In the first quarter of this year, earnings continued to increase, with revenue rising 85% to $81 billion, and net income advancing more than 200% to $58 billion. So it's not surprised that Nvidia's stock price has likewise exploded, increasing 900% over 5 years. These points all offer us reason for hope about the future, but we shouldn't disregard the reality that Nvidia confronts increased competition. Fellow chip designers like as AMD or new-to-the-industry firms like Cerebras Systems attempt to take market share. And even some of Nvidia's customers might offer a danger as they're creating their own processors. Amazon is a fantastic example. The company may even think about starting a separate chip manufacturer due to the high demand for its own chips. Let's now examine our question. Will Nvidia maintain its leadership in AI as competition grows and consumers have more and more options? There is one number that provides an answer that is remarkably obvious. According to the most recent rankings, nearly 9 out of 10 new systems on the list of the fastest supercomputers in the world are built on Nvidia. This clearly illustrates that customers continue to turn to Nvidia. Thus, even though there is enough of business for rivals to flourish too, yet this hasn't come even close to endangering Nvidia's dominating position. 81% of the top 500 fastest supercomputers in the world, or more than 400, are powered by Nvidia, according to the data. According to Nvidia, this represents a 17-system increase from the previous report. Twice a year, the list is updated. Moving forward, Nvidia's increased position in CPUs may help it gain even more ground, since it now offers another crucial ingredient, particularly in the era of agentic AI. The primary chips that assist in directing AI agents as they act to solve an issue on behalf of people are CPUs. All of this indicates that, despite competition, consumers still recognize the benefits of selecting Nvidia as a leader, and the company's emphasis on innovation should sustain this. And for investors who have decided to purchase and hold Nvidia for,
some big movers today. We got Micron earnings, Jenny. This was another blow. You know what? I talked about this yesterday going into it, across multiple shows and hits on the network, how the bar was really high. I wrote an article yesterday morning, but then I started looking at, the forward-looking PE on this company. It's actually stabilized about 10, 11 times next year's earnings due to the fact that earnings have been so blowout the last couple of quarters. This one adds to it. I mean, this was just, above everybody's high-end whisper estimates that could have been out there for this company.
I was asking the question a lot yesterday, like, what do they have to say that will not resonate? Because I think that was my fear, is you see these moves on the back of earnings on blowout numbers that just don't reflect at all a company of strength. So I think that's really interesting when you try to gauge, like, what will work, what will not, frankly. But it does seem like the tone from Micron very clearly did work here, shares rose as much as 18% this morning. And I will say that we talk a lot about the lack of breadth in this market, but I think look no further than the memory stock space specifically, because these names have really buoyed the overall market. And a huge bulk of this year's gains, when you look at Western Digital, SanDisk, Micron, all of these names have been on a run. Pulled back, yes, substantially this week. Tuesday, you felt that. But today, with Micron up now 18%, I think that this is the participation you need to fully see the market hold in green, at least as it looks right now. Yeah,
and you mentioned the fact that, if you take a look at it, it's been leading the tech space, but then we've seen weakness in a lot of the hyperscalers, a lot of the Mag 7 names.
Oracle, Broadcom, yeah.
They have taken over the reins, but let's go through some of the data here that we saw out of Micron. Last year, the same quarter, $9.3 billion in revenue. Jenny, it came in at $41.46 billion. That was above the anticipated about $36.5 billion that they anticipated. That is 345% above what we saw last year. So year-over-year comparables, and then EPS 25.11 versus estimates of about $20 to $21. That was 1,200% above what we saw last year, which was $1.91 on adjusted EPS. So, Come on.
Are we going to see the PE start to creep up, though? Like, this is ridiculous. I mean, even net income. Like,
you won't, because the E part of PE is growing so much and exponential. Yeah. This is a supply and demand story, Jenny, and demand outstripping supply. They signed, 16 new customers that are extending their contracts for like up to 2030 at this point. So this typical or historical boom and bust type of commodity space in the memory chips has become a longer duration positive guidance.
Yeah, and I mean, just like to put context to some of the even like further numbers, we did also see this explosive demand, and this is no surprise if you followed Micron, but especially in everything linked to like AI memory, like DRAM, NAND, and high bandwidth memory. But hyperscaler spend, as you did say, has been of note, as we know that this does continue to drive this effect of like pulling forward this memory demand across the board, but they've effectively become a core beneficiary of this memory chip shortage, with pricing power and gross margins surging to about 85%, to far above historical levels. Memory prices are also continuing to rise because of, again, that we're seeing it outpacing supply, but behaving almost less like one of these commodity businesses and more like a scarcity premium AI supplier. Yeah. And I think that you're continuing to see, again, the multiple not reflect this, which I think not frustrated by, but like it's still like bewildering to me when you also give guidance now well above expectations. Like, there is no sign of slowing growth in this story. And so reading through the numbers last night, trying to pick apart like what will the street not like, what did not beat by enough. It's very hard to actually find any of those metrics.
And we've seen that recently in some other stocks that have rallied into earnings this past earnings season. You know, it feels like so long ago some of these tech companies were reporting, and the bar was high on those going into earnings. And as you mentioned, and those stocks sold off because maybe there was one little metric that missed. You mentioned gross margins for Micron at the high end. Now, the company guided for about 80 to 81% gross margins. The whisper on the street was about 83 to 84%, came in at 84.9, nearly 85%, as you mentioned. That's above Meta Platforms, which is about 82. Remember, they rely on advertising, big gross margins. Nvidia, about 75%. So they're blowing away the competition. You mentioned the guidance that they gave. This was a non-fault quarter, and you're seeing it from the analyst calls. A lot of price target hikes, some of them up to above 2,200, 2,000 now moving forward. So we'll continue to watch the story. It's driving all the competitors in this space.